Hi everyone, it's Bev DeBono, and I've got a really great technique for us, and it is big triangle borders. So we're going to be making some really big triangle borders on the edges of our pages, and this is a great way to use up some scraps, and I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. First, what you're going to need is two base pages. So I actually just used white on these, my base. And then we need two just kind of tonal that's going to go right in your middle here. And then we need, and I actually used scraps for these. These are 3" by 3" squares. 3" by 3" squares. And you probably need, oh, maybe 7 of them just to make sure that you have, your colors in the right direction. Okay, so let's get started. Select some papers that are all going to blend. So what I'm using for this layout, I'm going to be using white again for my base. And I'm going to be using papers from Vintage Chic because I really liked the way that a lot of these just blended together. And so these are some of the colors that I'm choosing for um, my triangles. So I'm using a very tonal for the inside base, and then trying to pick out some of the colors maybe in that tonal or something coordinating to make my triangles that are going to be my accent pieces that go down the sides, the borders. Okay, so let's start laying out because I think we're going to draw our outside borders with a very thin line with our ruler and a fine tip pen here so that it actually gives us places so that we can line up our pieces, because it's kind of hard to line up all of these triangles without some kind of marking. Okay, so I have found the easiest way to do this is to set up your bigger inside base, draw your line all around the border, and then create your triangle pieces. Okay, so let's get started with that. Two bases. Okay, and because you don't want this to fight with your papers and everything. So you want to get probably a solid kind of a cardstock. All right, and our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut two pieces that are 8" by 11½. 8" by 11½, and you need two of these. Okay, so I'm using cutting 8". And this just might be 8". These were left over from, oh, they're very close, from a class that I had already done. Just evening it out. 8" by 11½. And you want those two to match. And I'm cutting both of them together. Okay, 8" by 11½. And I'm going to go ahead and put these down, all right, on my bases. And I'm going to have them centered near, in the center, but I'm going to have them about 1/4 of an inch in on both your top, bottom, and center side. Okay. So a 1/4 of an inch in. And then we're going to draw our border all around our edges here. Okay, so you've got an 8 by 11½. And I'm putting it in 1/4 of an inch in. And 1/4 of an inch up from the top and 1/4 of an inch in from the bottom. So make sure that you're lined up nicely. Your base is lined up nicely on your 13 by 13 mats. Here we go. Okay. Now the next thing is we are going to get a fine tip pen. A fine tip pen. So pick a color that is going to blend with everything that you have. So my color is going to be brown. My color is going to be brown. And I'm going to use the fine tip side of our dual tip pen. So I'm going to use the fine tip side. Okay, let me just see if I have another brown. I lost my brown pen and now I can't find it. Here we go. That's the one good thing about being an advisor is you always have supplies on hand. So here is a brand new brown dual tip pen. Okay, I want the fine tip side. So these dual tip pens come in 2 points. One is a thicker point, which I use to do my dots. The other is the fine tip point, and that's what we're going to be using to draw our lines all the way around. Okay, I'm going to get my ruler and I am going to just line my ruler up, and I'm just moving this so that I have a better way to see it here. And I'm just going to draw a straight line down with my ruler at about 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch in. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. It's just really making a nice thin border, and it's right there in the middle. And I'm going to do this all the way around, all 4 sides. Oh, at about 1/8 of an inch in. Hold down your ruler nice and tight. You don't want that ruler moving while you're while you're drawing with your pen. Okay, so we're just going all the way, 1/8 of an inch. Now, when I do this for pages like Halloween, I don't need necessarily to have such a straight line. Sometimes you could do a nice little jaggedy line, and that makes it a little creepier looking, especially like for Halloween. So you can, it doesn't have to, you don't always have to use a ruler when you're doing something like this. But for this particular one, I wanted it to be really nice. So you see, I've got a nice line, a very thin line at about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Yeah. And it's just a force of habit that I'm lining it up on a line. It's just easier for me to direct the ruler. It's easier to visualize where it's going to line up. Almost done. No worries here. Just hold down that ruler nice and tight. You don't want the ruler moving around when you're drawing with your pen here. So here we go. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to put back our bases. We've got our lines all the way around. And let me see, I might end up drawing that middle line too. Yeah. Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to make that middle line. Okay, so we're going to also draw one more line, and that is going to be between just about 1/8 of an inch over from where our paper here meets the base. So this is extending right now at 8 1/4. I'm going to draw my line at like about 8 3/8. If you want to do 8 1/2, you might just not have enough for, might not be enough room. So about 8 3/8, and you can really line it up from top to bottom on your mat. I'm just going to draw one more line down the middle there. Not the middle, but at 8 3/8. Okay, so now I've got that all sectioned off, and that's going to give me a nice section. This is where I'm going to be building my border. Okay, but now at least I have a place that it's all going to kind of go. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side at 8 3/8. Well, 8 3/8 on one side is really 3 5/8 on the other. So it's 8 3/8 at the one side of your 13 by 13 mat, and 3 5/8 on your other one. Okay. Now let me just double check if I ended up doing this, how I did this. And I think maybe we should go ahead and draw those lines, because I think it will make it easier. Yes. Okay, 4 more lines. Now we're going to draw a line at the 4-inch mark. So just have your pencil at the 4-inch mark across the top, across from side to side, but we're only going to draw a line on the base. We're not going to draw a line on this nice tonal paper. We're just going to draw a line at the 8-inch mark or 4-inch mark down from the top. And then we're also going to do another one at the other 4 inches. Okay, so now I've really got a nice section where that's going to go. So at the 4-inch mark, and only on the base. Okay, so you see I've got now 3 4-inch sections here. Well, 3, and they're a little bit smaller than 4 inches, but well, the middle one's 4 inches, the top and bottom are a little bit less. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side at the 4-inch mark, and you can, using the ruler, you can really line it up from side to side, but you're only going to draw the line on your plain cardstock base at the 4-inch mark. And then you're going to move your ruler down and then draw it at the 4-inch mark or the 8-inch mark, but it's 4 inches from the bottom. Okay, there we go with our lines. Okay, now comes the fun part. Now we're going to find coordinating pieces that are 3 inches by 3 inches, and we are going to need about 7 of them. Okay, so I'm going to start by just starting to cut some of these that I have here. 3 inches by 3 inches. And these are just some of the colors that are in that base that I'm using. 3 inches by 3 inches, so you need about 7 of them. I'm using 3 different colors that are, but if you want to add a 4th color, you could. Three inches by 3 inches. Like I said, you need about 7, only because you may end up with the color, when you lay out your colors, you may need another pattern there, so. Okay, 3 inches by 3 inches, so you need 7 of those. Okay, now what you want to do is, I'm going to just lift up my paper right there. We need a pencil, and we're going to just take these 3-inch squares. I'm going to put them right on my mat here, and I'm just going to mark with a pencil 1.5 inches. I'm just going to put a little mark right on the bottom where it's 1.5 inches. Okay, just a little mark, and I'm going to do that to all of these. Just on one side. This is how we're going to make our triangles. So at 1.5. And this way we'll make our triangles. And 1.5. You just need a little dot, but you have to be able to see it. Okay, once you have your dots, okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to end up happening. Okay, we are going to line it up so that we are going to be cutting our triangles from these, our little triangles from these bigger ones. There we go. So this is why we had to have our 1.5 inch mark up here. Okay, so that's our end result. That's our end result, and that is why we needed to have the midpoint of the 1.5 inches. Okay, so let's take one of ours. We're going to find that 1.5 inch mark. Okay, and I am going to then put my thumb or my finger on that 1.5 inch mark, and then I'm just going to slide the square over so that one of the tips goes to the cut line, and the 1.5 inch mark is also at the cut line. Okay, we are not using the 45-degree angle. Not using the 45-degree angle. I'm lining one tip at the cut line, and I'm lining the little dot at the cut line. Okay, and I'm going to just cut that. So now I have a smaller triangle. All right, and then go back to your dot, put your thumb on it or your finger on it, and now tap it over so that your other edge, your top point, is on the cut line and your dot is on the cut line. Okay, and now you have your big triangle and 2 small triangles. Okay, and we're going to do this on all of them until we get all of them cut. And then we're going to just kind of lay them out. Okay, so find your point, find your pencil mark, and these are 3x3 squares. We need about 7 of them so that we can move around the colors in case we need another color. Okay, put your pencil mark on your cut line. Put your finger on the little pencil dot. Slide it over so that your point is on the cut line and you've got your point on the cut line and your dot on the cut line. Okay, and now hold down the dot again, slide it over to the right until your point is at the cut line. So you've got your dot at the cut line and your point at the cut line. Okay, really sharp points here. And you can play with this and decide which, which side you want. Okay, so you're going to do that with all 6 pieces. Point at the cut line, tip at the cut line. Okay, and then point at the cut line, dot at the cut line, point at the cut line. Okay, and you want to place your big triangles on the outer edge with the little points facing inward like that. Okay. So again, point, and you don't have to keep the colors in the same order. In fact, I'm gonna mix these up just a little bit. Just to have a little fun here. The orange, here we go. Point at the cut line. There we go. Okay, and now you've got your little pieces. So you've got, I'm going to just lay the big triangles out. And so they are the big edges pointing inward. And then I'm just going to play with the smaller ones to see how they're going to fit. I don't want the colors like all, next to each other. Like I don't want to put an orange, a small orange next to the big orange. I'd rather then move the orange down, which means then this has to be a brown or a blue. Do you see what I'm saying? So you may need to have a couple extra colors. I really like this. This is nice. And I'm going to have a brown. And I need another orange. You're going to have big space in between, and we're going to, no worries, we're going to be drawing a line. So you see how quick that comes together? And then just kind of, like I said, play with your colors as far as what you don't want two same colors next to each other. No, I'm going to have to cut. I only cut 6, so that's why I needed my 7th, because sometimes I need to have that other color. Here we go. I'm going to put a blue. Yeah, you may have to just, like I said, cut another color. Because that blue isn't going to go there. So you do need a third one just to kind of, you need the seventh one. Just so you have additional little triangles to choose from. Okay, let's see. And play around with it because the shapes are, that's what's going to get messed up a little bit. There we go. There, I think I got it. Okay, so once you have your triangles, then you can go ahead and start taping them down. And I would do that definitely with the repositionable tape, because then this way you can move them around. Also, I want to have the points as, I don't want them lifting up. So I'm going to put repositionable tape because I can get all the way to the edges. And you want to have your borders around these triangles to be about the same size so that you can draw additional lines through them, because it does make it even nicer. Definitely makes it a bigger, like a mosaic type, which I really like. So this particular pattern didn't have a lot of embellishments with it that I thought I could use. So what I'm going to do is quick show you also how to make some fun little flowers. Again, using some scraps that that we have. So once I get this one down, I will. Like I said, I'm centering them all. I'm making sure that the white border around all the triangles, is about the same. Only do a couple at a time, because once you've got them set, if you lift them all up again, it's going to be awfully hard to figure out where they go. Okay, so I have this side done. So let me show you what that looks like real close. So that is how they fit in the squares that we drew. And if you want, you can take your ruler and your fine tip pen again and actually draw additional lines between those triangles that you just set. And that will really pop it. I'm just going to do all one direction first, and then I'll do the other direction. And I'll show that to you. I'm going to match that line, that point. So pretty. This is really such a pretty design. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing, drawing additional lines in between those triangles. So what we've done in effect is build a border directly on the page as opposed to making a separate border and then putting it onto the page itself. But you have the same effect either way. I just kind of like it this way. Now, like I said, this particular vintage chic didn't really have a lot of embellishments like some of the others had. Like this had a lot of other embellishments that we could use for the middles, except for medallions such as that. So I thought, well, I'll show you real quick how to make a couple of um, flowers. And these are some fun ones just made out of squares and your corner rounder. And these are just little, flowers made out of squares and the corner rounder. And I thought these would be kind of fun little embellishments for a page like this. You could actually, fold them and pop them with a little flower and put a little gem in the middle there. And I think that would be a really cute design for this particular. I like that a lot. It'd be a cute design for this particular pattern. So let me show you real quick how to make these. These are really fun and easy. You see, you can make them as big as you want, or this is about the smallest I think I'd like to go. And these, we start off with squares. So let me get my corner rounder. And I'm going to start off with some squares, and they're going to be 2 inches and 1.5 inches. 2 inches and 1.5 inches. Okay, so these are the 2-inch ones. And you don't want to use cardstock on these. You definitely want to use a thinner paper on these. Okay, this one is going to go on this side. The big one's going to go in the middle. Okay, so the big flower is a 2-inch flower. Okay, so again, you don't want a thick paper with this. You want to use the thinner designer paper. All right, and we're going to cut a 2-inch square, 2 by 2. 2-inch by 2-inch. This is for the flowers. And then I'm going to show you the smaller flower, and that is going to be 1.5 inches, an 1.5 inch square. So we want to do 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. I'm looking for my scraps, and this is, I'm going to do the 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Yeah, that's what we do. Okay, let me just put these down. I'm going to just put a little foam on this and underneath these, and then that way they're just awful cute. Okay, so how do we make these flowers? Okay, here's my 2-inch. This is my 2-inch square. I'm going to take my square and I'm going to fold it in half towards you. Fold it in half towards you. Okay. All right, so this is what we have it folded in half towards us. The opening is towards you. Okay, and I'm going to take the piece that's folded, and I'm going to put that in my corner rounder. Okay, I'm going to put that in my corner rounder, just like that. That's the folded piece. All right, and then I'm going to turn it so that the other folded piece goes in the corner rounder. Okay, so now this is what I have. The 2 pieces, the open pieces are facing me, and the ones that are closed have the corner rounder. Okay, now I'm going to open it again. turn it so that I have the cut piece in the middle. I'm going to fold it again towards me. Okay, so again, I have the open pieces facing me, and I'm going to put the folded edge in my corner rounder and the other folded edge and punch. Okay, and then when you open them up, you have your flower. I'll show you this side because it's brighter. And from there, then you can kind of fold them so that they pop up a little bit more. I like to scrunch them a little bit in the middle, a little. Okay, and then you can pop it on foam and put it on your page. Okay, and you do the same thing with the small one. The small one is a little harder because it is small. Again, this is the 1.5 inches. Have it flat, fold it towards you. Okay, the open piece is facing you, and then you want to put the folded piece in the corner rounder, the other folded piece in the corner rounder. Open it up. So now you have the piece you've already cut up and bottom, so it looks like a butterfly. Fold it towards you again. Okay, and put that folded piece in corner rounder and the other folded piece in the corner rounder. Okay, so this is fun because, and then again, you can, scrunch it up, put some foam on it, and then you can, definitely put a little gem in it, and it's a really cute flower. Okay, so that's why I wanted to do flowers for this particular one, because there wasn't a lot of embellishments with this particular group. You can certainly do it in one of the embellishment tags that came along with that pattern. So that will work as well. Okay, so that is our technique for today. It is big triangle borders, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And this is the other look of it. And that's with the other embellishments down the side. So, okay. If you are not currently working with a Creative Memories advisor, I'd appreciate if you'd order from my website. If you're looking to join a Creative Memories team, please keep me in mind. I do have a nice team that I support nationally, and we have a lot of fun sharing ideas and supporting each other. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you again soon. My YouTube channel is Bev DeBono Design. Goodbye for now.